Alright, so this is the review for the informational practice test. So we're going to do the same thing and go through and highlight the keywords of the questions first. So question should be number 1. How, according to the excerpt, how are Sherlock Holmes' methods similar, so we're looking for similarities, to the methods of forensic scientists? Alright, so we should highlight methods too, because that's what we're looking for. Alright, so then number 2, the following question has 2 parts. Part A, in paragraph 2, we're looking for the meaning of the word collaborative. Part B, which antonym that appears in paragraph 2. Paragraph 2, again, antonym. So remember, antonym means opposite. Best helps the reader understand the meaning of collaborative. Alright, so we'll want to zoom into paragraph 2 to figure that out. According to paragraph 3, which statement accurately represents the relationship, so we're looking for a relationship between forensic science and criminalists. Okay, then number 4. We're given a situation here. Mr. Moore was accused of stealing Mrs. Park's laptop computer from her office. 4 main pieces of evidence were used in the trial. Draw an arrow, specific direction, draw an arrow from each piece of evidence to match it to the kind of evidence described in paragraph 6 of the text. The following item has 2 parts. Answer part A and then part B. Which statement most accurately summarizes the text? So summary is the whole thing. So which part most accurately describes the entire text? Which paragraph best illustrates this summary? Okay. In paragraph 7, the author indicates these 3 sentences about forensic science. It may be used to reconstruct the crime, identify participants, or confirm or discredit an alibi. It also frequently helps to eliminate suspects. It establishes the facts of the crime, for example, that the bullet had lodged in the victim's heart and caused his death came from the defendant's gun. It can provide a step-by-step analysis of the events leading up to, including, and following the incident. Sorry, I'm having mouse issues. What is the purpose of these sentences in paragraph 7? Okay, so we're looking for the purpose of these sentences. So what do they do? Highlight 3 sentences in the text that reveal the author's doubtfulness about the accuracy of the role of humans in the legal process. Oops. Okay, so we're going to be on the lookout when we read for the doubtfulness about the accuracy of the role of humans in the legal process. Okay, then last question, number 8, the response question. Is forensic science the most important type of evidence? Okay, so forensic science, the most important type of evidence to present at a trial. Write to explain what information the author provides that answers this question. Remember to use information from the text as you delineate and evaluate the evidence the author provides to answer this question. Use the lines on this page for your response. Or in our case, some of you should have probably written to the side. Okay. Alright, so I am not going to go through and read all of this to you, just for the sake of time. We're going to go to our questions and start answering them. Okay, so Holmes's method, similar to the methods of forensic scientists today. So Holmes's method is mentioned in the first paragraph. So if we look at that, today, more than a century after Sherlock Holmes first astonished and delighted readers with his brilliance, most crimes are still solved the way they were in the Victorian era, through confessions or eyewitness accounts. Increasingly, however, police and prosecutors rely on evidence of the type Holmes often used to get at the truth. Okay, so here we go. Police and prosecutors rely on evidence of the type Holmes often used to get at the truth. Scientific or forensic evidence. Today, that evidence typically comes from sources such as fingerprints, bodily fluids, and bullets. Alright, so then Holmes used hard evidence to solve crimes. So hard evidence, hold on, I'm going to start that over. Hard evidence is what? Hard evidence is things that you can see, feel, touch, etc. So that's a possibility because that would tie into what forensic evidence is. Holmes found instincts rather than testimony. Has nothing to do with instincts in testimony, and that's definitely not what people today use. Holmes worked collaboratively with others in order to solve crimes. Not quite true about Holmes. Holmes relied heavily on science to help gather evidence for crimes. Okay, so although this is kind of true, he relied on science. He really gathered evidence through careful examination rather than scientific methods because he did not have forensic science like we have today. So we are going to go with number A because of that statement in paragraph 1 that we highlighted. Police and prosecutors rely on evidence of the types Holmes used often to get at the truth, scientific or forensic evidence. That forensic physical evidence is what that's telling us. Okay. In paragraph 2, what is the meaning of the word collaborative? So if we go to paragraph 2, we're looking for things to clue us into collaborative, and then if we remember, part B is telling us to find the antonym as well. In contrast to the romantic image of one Holmes-like super sleuth single-handedly uncovering the facts of a case, truth-seeking in law enforcement and criminal justice is actually a collaborative effort involving the police, a medical examiner or coroner, investigators, and lab technicians. Each applies his or her own expertise to the problem. Alright, so here we go. We have collaborative effort. We have multiple people being used to work together to solve the crime. So let's go back down. So collaborative, skillful, no. Dull, definitely not. Shared, yes. People sharing, working together. Unreliable, no. So romantic is definitely not an antonym, has nothing to do with collaborating. Holmes-like is also not an antonym. Single-handedly is an antonym. Truth-seeking, not related to collaborative. So single-handedly, if people are working together, working alone is the opposite of working collaboratively. Okay. In paragraph 3, which statement accurately represents the relationship between forensic science and criminalists? Alright, in our title we have referred rather informally to forensic science, however distinction should be made between the terms forensic science and criminalistics, which are often used interchangeably. Forensic science is a science applied to answering legal questions. It draws together principles of knowledge from one field or a combination of fields, such as medicine, mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, and anthropology, and applies them to legal proceedings. Alright, for example, serology is the study of blood and other bodily fluids. Forensic serology is the study of blood and bodily fluid evidence to help reconstruct a crime or an accident. Criminalistics, on the other hand, is a branch of forensic science that deals specifically, my mouse is going crazy, specifically with the scientific collection and examination of physical evidence. Alright, so criminalistics is a branch of forensic science. I think that's the key. So A, criminalistics combines concepts from many areas of study, but forensic science does not. I didn't see that there. Forensic science can be useful in court cases, while criminalistics cannot. Well, it's true. Forensic science can be useful in court cases. It said nothing about criminalistics not being useful. Criminalistics is a subset of the larger field. Yeah, a part of a whole branch. Criminalistics is a branch of forensic science. It's part of the whole. So C is our correct answer. Okay. So paragraph 6 is what the next one. Paragraph 6 gives us each type of evidence. So testimony is a statement from competent sworn witnesses. So sworn witness is somebody who in court says, I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Direct evidence, which refers to frustrating. Observations of eyewitnesses. Circumstantial evidence. Any information that tends to prove or disprove a point at issue. Real or physical evidence, sometimes also called hard evidence, refers to any tangible article or object, so anything you can touch, once again. Okay. So let's look at our pieces of evidence. Police found a strand of hair the same color and length as Mr. Moore's in Mr. Park's office. Alright, a strand of hair. That is real or physical evidence, right? That's something we can see and touch. A computer technician stated in court that the laptop found in court is one of the sworn witnesses. So that was testimony. Sworn witness, swore in court, stated in court. Mr. Moore's office mate, Mr. Fowler, heard Mr. Moore tell Mrs. Parks that he would take her laptop because she owed him money. Okay, so that's circumstantial. Somebody heard somebody say something, and you can't trust necessarily what somebody would hear, so that's circumstantial. It's based on circumstance. And then a neighbor named Mrs. Blair stated that she opened Mrs. Parks' door and saw so eyewitness, somebody actually saw Mr. Moore lifting the laptop, so that's direct evidence. Okay. Alright, number 5. The following item has 2 parts. Answer part A and then part B. Which statement most accurately summarizes the text? Again, you would have needed to read the entire text to know the summary of it. A. Criminal investigators still solve crimes in the same manner Sherlock Holmes solved crimes. No, the whole Sherlock Holmes things ends really after that second paragraph. B. Forensic science is a complicated process that relies too much on human perception and not enough on actual scientific evidence. Where it is mentioned, they do talk about human perception a little bit. However, scientific evidence is the main component of forensic science, so that's just not true at all. C. From several types of evidence that can be presented at trial, including eyewitness testimony, forensic science is the most reliable. Many types of evidence are presented at a trial, including eyewitness testimonies, but this statement does not really summarize the important parts of the entire text, only a little part of it. D. Solving crimes includes law enforcement officials working together, yes. So they start off talking about law enforcement officials working together, and they end the text talking about law enforcement officials working together. So part B is going to be paragraph 2 They talk about that collaboration between officials.